That was one of many false claims made by Dr Sharmika, a Siddha practitioner from Tamil Nadu. For example, in one video published on a popular YouTube channel, Sharmika falsely claims that eating junk food can cause dengue and malaria. In another video, she said that sleeping face down can cause breast cancer in women, a claim that's not based on any scientific evidence. Sharmika's interviews to several popular Tamil YouTube channels have gotten tens and thousands of views. But now there's been an official probe ordered into the misinformation. So while this probe is happening on the one side, the question that I want to ask is, shouldn't these YouTube channels or Facebook and Instagram pages be more responsible when it comes to public safety? Is only Dr. Sharmika to be blamed here? What about all those who gave her a platform? To explain all this and more, I'll be joined by Akash Banerjee, who runs the very popular satire show called The Deshbhakt on YouTube. First, let's set the record straight. Not everything Sharmika said is untrue or perhaps even unscientific, but she peppers her videos with a lot of outlandish and unscientific claims. The fact is that Sharmika is hardly the first person whose unscientific and false claims have gone viral on social media. The COVID-19 pandemic fueled health misinformation. According to one study published in Sage Journals in 2021, India produced the largest amount of social media misinformation on COVID-19. And this was because of the high number of internet users in the country, the high number of people consuming information on social media, and a lack of internet literacy among users. The same study also found that India was the most affected by such misinformation, with countries like the US, Brazil, and Spain ranking lower. Take for example this case from Andhra Pradesh of a country medical practitioner called Bonagi Anandeya, who claimed that his brinjal-based eye drops could raise the blood oxygen levels of critical COVID-19 patients. A video of a man claiming that he felt better after being given these eye drops went viral in 2021 during the peak of the second wave. Except only days later, the same man had to be admitted in the ICU and be given oxygen support. Despite what happened to this man, Anandeya's herbal concoctions was endorsed by the local YSRCP MLA, and thousands from neighboring districts and even other states queued up for the eye drops. The sheer amount of health misinformation available on social media is staggering, ranging from conspiracy theories on vaccines to cancer cures and even fad diets. For example, Veera Machineni Ramakrishna, who claims to be a diet expert, had allegedly prescribed a keto diet plan to diabetic patients. This reportedly had disastrous consequences, with some patients losing consciousness and some others even having to be admitted in the ICU. Like Sharmika, Ramakrishna too had been platformed by several popular Telugu YouTube channels, with his interviews clocking millions of views. This brings me to why is there such a willingness to consume such misinformation on social media? To put this into perspective is Akash Banerjee, the founder and host of Deshbhakt.
So, this might not come as a surprise to anybody who's been on platforms, social media platforms, even YouTube as a matter of fact, is because misinformation and very subtly done misinformation. You see, what happens is we talk a lot about WhatsApp, where the misinformation or the lies is quite blatant. But what happens in other social media, a lot of Instagram, a lot of YouTube, is that you have these influencers who might not just say something which is outrightly and a lie, or it might not be atrociously an untruth, but maybe caters to our biases, caters to our superstition, our beliefs, our ghar ke nuskes, home remedies, and that is given as a in a more scientific way. So it isn't very surprising, and the kind of stuff that we see from dietitians, nutritionists, I think, in the medical field, it's very, very concerning. I do not know about a particular topic, but because I am an influencer, I am going ahead and telling people who are willing to listen. So I think there is a lot of willingness of people to absorb content on the internet. There is a distrust as far as the mainstream media is concerned. But the same thing that has happened with the mainstream media will continue to happen now on digital media if these influencers go ahead and just do anything that they think is right or any information that they think is right. In today's situation that we are in, people are looking for quick fix solutions. People are looking for magical solutions. People are looking at not having to go to a doctor, having to lose weight while having fast food. And these content creators will come and tell you that, no, you can have your cheeseburgers and yet you can lose your weight, literally. I mean, just for an example. And you will have these people following. Unfortunately, it doesn't end well. I can assure you of that. But will people understand it before time? I doubt it.
So whether it is Sharmika or Ramakrishna or any other health guru for that matter, not all of what they say all the time may be problematic or controversial. But every now and then they will say something that is totally unscientific or totally false that will put thousands at risk. So where do content creators draw the line between saying something purely for eyeballs and sensation versus the truth, which may often be boring?
You know, as far as content creators are concerned, there is technically, legally, very, very few lines at this point of time. It's literally the wild, wild west, and that is why there is a lot of call to regulate social media content, which to a certain extent might not be a bad idea as a matter of fact, but to use that regulation to stifle free speech is, of course, another full debate. Should it be regulated? We are already seeing the first steps of regulation, which is the Advertising Council of India is now saying is that you have to make it absolutely clear that if a certain segment of a certain reel is sponsored or not, you have to put it out at the front. On YouTube, anyways, this self-declaration format has been there for the longest time. You put a tick mark that this video has sponsored content and it comes right at the top of the video. But not many people use it. So subtle advertising is happening. People are not being told that this is an advertised segment. So A, that red line needs to be drawn. If it is advertised, if any money has changed hands, it's already happening in the West. That needs to happen here. B, there are enough legal provisions. But obviously, legal provisions are not resorted to at this point of time in terms of somebody getting harmed, in somebody getting a loss. But once this thing happens, and unfortunately, if anything goes out of control, you will see some legal action being taken also. There are enough provisions as far as the law is concerned. It's about just implementing them. C, what is the responsibility of social media companies if they are highlighted this? At this point of time, Anna, social media companies are more concerned about vitriolic hate. They are concerned more about violent threats, which they do take seriously. There are modes in which you can report a video, but at this point of time, the kind of videos that get reflected or actioned upon is brazen lies, something that will destroy communal harmony, peace, which is brazenly illegal. So what happens is a lot of content creators are managing to slip through the cracks by peddling their own wares, peddling lies in terms of health, in terms of finance. This till now has escaped the very close scrutiny of social media companies also. But there are provisions where you can report these, and sometimes they do get taken down. But yes, at this point of time, it's a little bit of uncharted territory, a little bit of wild, wild west, and that's why you're seeing these episodes happen.
But what about the responsibility of the YouTube channels or the Facebook and Instagram pages that provide a platform to people like Sharmika or Ramakrishna? Can they get away with merely a disclaimer? Don't they have a moral responsibility when it comes to public safety?
I think what will happen eventually is not just the platforms being responsible. I think sooner or later, the other content creators, and this is unfortunately not something that happened in the media, and it was the digital media that was calling out mainstream media. Hopefully, digital media should be able to call out these content creators. I have seen that starting to happen is when these larger creators, and I'll give you a very small example of what is happening in America at this point of time. Logan Paul is one of the biggest content creators in America, massive on YouTube, and he had his own clothing line, etc., etc., made a ton of money. But then he got into the whole crypto zone, and he started peddling his own crypto coins, etc., etc. And now his reputation is because basically it was a Ponzi scheme that he had launched. So it was a digital YouTube Ponzi scheme, but basically it was at the end of the day a Ponzi scheme, and there is legal action that is happening. So the blind trust on content creators is getting eroded already in America. What I see how it will happen is not through the legal means. Of course, if something dramatically goes wrong, somebody will file a case, so there'll be a police case, so there'll be awareness on that end. But majorly what will happen is either these content creators will get called out by other content creators on YouTube, or people will come to their senses a little bit and understand that this is lies that is being peddled. So I have particularly seen is that when these people are called out, there is a sort of a self-calibrating and self-balancing. For example, just like News Minute does, just like we do at Deshbhakt, is everything comes back with a source. Every joke that we crack, as a matter of fact, has an article attached to it, either on screen or in the description box. What a lot of content creators are getting away at this point of time is putting their opinion as a fact. I think users must, and I think it is a process. You see, whenever new technology comes or a new trend comes, it is misused first. Unfortunately, we all remember the age of MMS cands, where private MMSs got leaked. And then people became aware that this camera can be switched on at any point of time, and people started being more careful around mobile phones and mobile cameras. In the same way, I think what will happen is people will come to understand is that a content creator is not God. A content creator doesn't know everything. A content creator needs to back his claims from somewhere. There has to be some logical sequencing to what this person is saying, and therefore a little bit of more awareness.
But what can you as a social media user do if you see such content? How do you flag such misinformation?
I can tell you that almost every social media platform allows for reporting. I'll give you the rankings also. The most sensitive to violence and any sort of breaking of the law and nudity at this point of time would be YouTube and Instagram. If you tell them, and they will tell you why are you reporting, but you see, it also has to do with adequate number of people reporting the right thing. It can't be you getting up or I getting up and say, no, this video is wrong. And that is what is called mass reporting, which is of course misused also a lot of times to silence voices. But there has to be a critical mass of people who are saying that this video is wrong, this minute and this content and this what was said here is wrong. So you see, it is social media. So you can't expect a government or a social media company to start governing, is because that is when everything goes wrong. The best answer to social media misinformation is also feedback through social media. When these videos are reported, with these content creators are reported, right now I can tell you hate content creators are dealt with. It's not like it's completely blind. The action is taken. I'm not talking about Twitter. I'm not talking about WhatsApp. That's a wild zone at this point of time. But on Instagram, I've seen, on YouTube, I have seen that it happens. So maybe that's where the start is, where people need to be told. And just like we have fake news busting, we may end up having fake influencer busting shows also, where fake claims, fake financial information, fake health information is busted in this manner.
Now, obviously, social media companies like YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram can do more to counter misinformation. There have been issues over the artificial intelligence systems that these companies use not being able to understand the local language or the cultural context. But beyond the challenges of content moderation, isn't it problematic that these platforms reward videos or posts with the most amount of views or clicks?
So that's the sad part of life. So you know what they say about clickbait. You can have a clickbaity thumbnail, you can have a clickbaity introduction, as long as there is some of that bait that is being served. And that's what clickbait really is, that you make it attractive, you make it a little controversial, but people will click and you will maybe get something of it. But what is happening is, because of that rush to get that click, to get that view, any and everything at this point of time goes. So if I'm offering a magical solution and I'm saying lose fat in 2 days, get ripped in 3 weeks, people are like, wow, that is an easy way. But experienced nutritionists, health experts will tell you that there is no shortcut to good health. But how many people want to listen to such? They want to listen to people who will give you that, no, you, without going to the gym, without fasting, without doing intermittent, just consume this and that and you lose weight. So social media, unfortunately, is feeding to our very baser instincts, whether be it politics, whether be it what we want to watch, or how do we want to get healthy. It is all about that dopamine kick and getting things done quickly. Will that stop? I don't think so, unfortunately. Not very easily. It is only about people getting a little bit more wary about what is being peddled at this point of time that, we might come around to some solution.
What Akash is proposing is slowly happening, of people becoming wary, of other digital content creators calling out such blatant misinformation. Take Sharmika's case. She was mercilessly trolled on social media for many of her comments. There have been some action offline as well. The Tamil Nadu Board of Indian Medicine has sought an explanation from Sharmika for her comments. That's all for this week. Remember, you can do your bit to support organizations like the News Minute, which actively counter misinformation by becoming a member. Also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channels. And as always, if you like this video, hit the like button and share this video with your friends.